What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be talking about the power systems in Idle Heroes. You better be ready to strap in because there are so many different power systems you need to be aware of to increase the power of your account. Now, if you're a new player to the game, you might not know this. You typically focus on one single hero, and you take all of these power systems and you funnel it into this one super overpowered hero. It's very different than a lot of the idle AFK gacha games out there. I personally really enjoy this style. So we're going to go through all the different power systems one by one. Make sure we don't miss any too, because there's actually a lot of them that we need to make sure we don't miss, and kind of talk about when you unlock them. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's jump right into it. So let's start off with the most basic form, taping your heroes from a 5-star and bringing them all the way up to 10-star and then eventually up to an E5 hero. Getting an E5 hero used to be something back in the old days of the game that it would take 4, 5, even 6 months to get an E5 hero. And E5 wasn't even the original power level that you get to at the very beginning. It was like 10-star was the cap. Now you could go up to E5, and it still took quite a while. Nowadays it takes like a week to 2 weeks to get your first E5 hero, especially if you start your account around anniversary time. So getting your levels up to an E5 is the first way you kind of generate power. Beyond that, you're going to want to get gear systems, which again, as you progress through the game, you're going to go up from these red sets to orange sets, eventually these pink sets, purple sets, whatever you want to call them, and that is something that scales up. Another thing that happens are your stones. So you can see right here, you have these guys here that can be upgraded to very high levels as well. This is another power system that unlocks immediately as you level up your hero. Now, originally, you're only going to be able to take them up to this 3-star soulstone. Eventually, as you go through later game modes, you'll be able to go all the way up to 6-star. But just keep in mind, rolling them up to here is a huge boost in stats for your hero as well. And between that and that, you get a huge power boost. Now, one thing that came out much later in life, but ended up being one of the really early unlockable power systems, is actually going to be your monster. Your monster is going to give you a decent amount of stats. You can see right here the amount of stats they give is not a ton. However, once you get them up to, I believe it's level 120, and you get all of these monster ores maxed out, you unlock the rune enhancement system. This is a huge amount of fixed stats. However, nowadays it's not really that much. In the old days, this used to be one of the biggest boosts to power on your account. But now that this is fixed stats, which fixed means no multipliers add to this. So you might have something that gives 10% additional attack. That's not going to get this number multiplied. These are just raw stats that get added to the hero and don't get buffed or changed. Since then, though, we've had Treasure Train come out. And as you guys know, with all these crazy treasures, they give a ton of raw stats, and even on early free-to-play accounts, you can get a ton of stats. You can see even on our main account here where we go crazy spending, you can get up to 13 million, to the point where if you want to compare to your account right now, I'll show you guys. I actually don't know if we have any 1-star heroes, do we? Probably not. Let me summon a single 3-star out here. This is, again, is going to look a little crazy. One of our 3-star heroes has 1.3 billion HP and 13, almost 14 million attack. That could be stronger than your strongest hero on your account. And that is because Treasure Train is one of those power systems that just continues to grow and grow as we get new events, new series, all that stuff. This is going to be one of those other power systems that is very big, and it unlocks very early on. After that, we need to talk about Guild, because the Guild is another way that you get a ton of stats, and this is one that is really important because a lot of these stats are multiplicative stats. So it takes all those raw basic stats that aren't fixed stats and then multiplies them up. If you have like a Doom Terminator Vulcan, you're getting huge amounts of HP and attack from a bunch of these nodes here. You can see right here we get 20, 40, 70% HP bonus just from your guild tech. Beyond that, you get some damage reduction from heroes and stuff like that. Focusing on your main heroes class guild tech all the way through the first tier, and then occasionally some of these anti-classes, if you're worrying about Sealand, is a huge boost to stats. Those are a lot of the baseline beginning of the game stat boosts. There is one other one we'll talk about too before going too deep into it, and that is there are galleries that can give fixed stats as well. So you have like the skin gallery, you have the equipment gallery that gives percentage stats, you also have the avatar gallery that again gives fixed stats, and then you also have the artifact gallery again giving percentage stats. These are all some of the most basic ones that unlock very early on your account and are going to be the first ones you need to focus on. On to the next stage came with the Gate of the Void. So we have Realms Gate, Void Vortex, we have Galactic Tree, we have Void Arc. These introduced a brand new system at the time that would allow you to take your heroes up to the next level here. For example, I'm going to show you this Asmodel. You have additional stats you're going to gain through using your Cores of Transcendence to get Stellar Shards. These Stellar Shards are going to give a bunch of stats here, and you notice these are not fixed stats, they're raw stats. They get multiplied by all those percentage multipliers. These are going to be the next thing you need to focus on, and you get them through multiple different sources, mainly through here. You get them through fighting things in Realms Gate. You get them through Void Vortex, which we actually still need to do our Void Vortex on our main account. We'll get to that soon. You get them through Void Arc, and those are going to be some really good stat boosts. You are never going to have enough Stellar Shards. You can even see on our account right here, we're sitting on like 2.4. But trust me, those are going to get burned through really quickly because you're going to hyper focus building one strong hero, and with that you're going to have them get a ton of stats. With that game mode coming out, we also got the Galactic Tree, which has all these cute little star spawn. These star spawn give fixed stats, so much like the treasure train stats, they give fixed ones, but they also give some percentage ones based on which one there are. Focusing these all up and making sure you're continually hatching these eggs is going to be a very big deal because, well, getting all these maxed out is huge, especially the newer versions give, again, like fixed attack, fixed HP, but they also have secondary bonuses that give you precision, that give you all damage dealt, things like that that are very hard to come by. Maim, a stat that you can only get in one of two places that increases the damage enemies take the lower their HP goes. These are very big systems to talk about. They are great ways to get tons of stats, and with that we also got the next one, which comes on Cloud Island. Cloud Island lets you set up a homeowner. In our situation here, you can see we put our Doom Terminator Vulcan, and then you put heroes in here. Now the big takeaway from this is baseline, if you don't have the skin, which gives a bonus 5 levels, you basically max out granting 100% of the household, or the tenant, which these are called tenants right here. If you ever hear us use that word, these are tenants. You're getting a percentage of these tenant stats sent to the main hero, which is why you see a lot of times we put our super powerful heroes in one house all together to make this top hero very strong. You're going to get these resources throughout the game. I think we actually have all of these upgraded almost, but you're going to have different types of resources like toolboxes, master toolboxes, wood, fine wood, all these different things. These are going to add up, and you're going to have householders with tenants in them. This is one of the biggest gains you'll ever see. You can see right here we have over 24 million attack going to our Doom Terminator Vulcan, and he's sitting at a grand total of 78 right now. So literally a third of his attack is coming from that one power system. But that one power system tandems on all those other things like we talked about. It's taking all those stats you're getting from Void 4 and everything. It's putting those stats into the main hero as well, which is really important. So moving on, even beyond that, there are other systems in which you can upgrade your gear. So not only can you get resonance gear for heroes if you come on over to the Grey Dwarf's Blessing, you can make resonance suits of gear, which are like the upgraded versions. You can upgrade them all the way up to higher tiers as well, all the way up to 3-star. This gives a ton of raw stats and percentage multipliers, which mean a very big deal, especially when we're talking about a ton of raw stats, which is just absolutely amazing. Gear is important, and then with that as well, we have Ormus artifacts, which are upgraded versions of artifacts. Those are just forever getting new versions of them, and with the newest update we had, we have this deification where you're actually taking a new version of artifact and an old version of artifact and making a super premium version, which then you can take from here and put them right back in Ormus Workshop and upgrade them to these crazy heights. You can see how you can get items like this that give crazy amounts of damage reduction and bonus effects, which is really strong as well. The next system after that is called your Tree of Origin. So you are going to be using Essence Sublimation, Spirit, all these different things, Spiritual Essence, Stellar Shards. You're going to be using those to upgrade these trees. It takes quite a bit to get all the way up to level 120. It does give some fixed stats, but really it's not the fixed stats here that are the biggest bonus. It's the modifications to existing abilities. So for example, the active skill gets even stronger and stronger. You have things that reduces the target's attack, increases its damage it deals, and has a chance, like this one, actually freeze the target. So that is the next tier. But beyond even that, we have the Core of Origins. Cores of Origin are not a huge stat boost, and most of their Core of Origin abilities are not that influential in combat for a good amount of heroes, but you are going to need to get a Noble Core because you need a Noble Core and all of this sublimed out to use the next system and one of the newest ones, which is called Destiny Transition. This is another system where you get additional bonus abilities based on what you pick to just continue to power your hero up even further. Some of them have increased damage abilities here, which is pretty cool too, and different ways they work, and they basically have a transition skill that does things based on the number of stacks you get from the first skill here. So this is a very powerful one because you get tons of stats, and beyond that you're getting something called Divine Power, these stars right here. So you can see on our hero we have 13 of them. That becomes big because there's a Divine Power gap, which takes the enemy stars and your stars, does a math problem, and comes out with a solution. So if we are going up against an enemy that has, let's say, 10 Divine Power, but we have 13, we have a difference. We have a positive power gap of +3. Which means our hero does 30% extra damage and takes 20% less damage. However, if we had Destiny Transition 10 and the enemy had 13, that means the enemy gets 30% damage bonus to you, as well as 20% damage reduction against you. So this is a very important system. Getting your star levels up is very important. You can see right here most of our heroes that are important. We do have that on because that is one of the strongest power gains as far as attack and defense in this game, which leads us to our newest version, which is a little interesting, or not newest, I should say, one of the newer ones. It still technically came out before Destiny Transition, but we have Soul Awakenings. This allows you to get raw stats onto your hero, as well as bonus stats that further multiply your damage. The big thing with this is even your tenants have these awakenings on them, which influence the amount of stats that they provide to your main hero. Beyond even that, there's a newest system that we just recently talked about, the Soul Gathering Statue, which allows you to put additional raw stats onto your hero. It might not sound like a lot, but by going from just this to adding this on our hero right here, literally gained us like 12 million attack, just as much as the entirety of our treasure train does, which is just absolutely insane. So again, those are really important skills and power modes to think about. And then if you do get to Nirvana 100, which I'm kind of just not talking about this much because not many people get to this, you unlock your life stars, which has multiple different power systems that you can share with other heroes on your account. Some of them give raw fixed stats like you can see right here, while other ones buff your main hero and unlock special abilities. So you can see how deep the rabbit hole goes. We go from building an E5 hero to giving them void imprinting, to having guild tech, to having treasure train, monsters. We then have cores of origin with Destiny Transition and then life stars. So there's so many power systems that matter that they do all add up to create this monster of a hero with almost 80 million attack at this point. But at the same time, it's a lot to it. So that's just a quick synopsis of all the different power systems that are in the game now that it's 2024. The game's been around for 8 years. It's really ramped up in the past couple years, but if you're a newer player, that is kind of explaining a quick synopsis of each power system. If you guys want me to go into more detail on any one of those, please leave a comment down below and I'll make a video kind of breaking down each power system a little bit more in depth. But I realize there's no way when you start this game to realize how many different power systems upgrade your hero. And again, this was a quick Cliff's Notes version of just that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys next time.